Okay, so welcome to the next session of this 11th week on learning organization. And you remember in the last session we talked about the characteristics of the learning organization, okay, and how an organization can become a learning organization. So, we discussed of the systems, processes and enablers which can make an organization a learning organization, and then we gave certain examples of some companies to explain that those companies who have been able to continuously improve and innovate themselves have survived in the market, and those who have not been able to do it have perished. Okay. So, the mantra is either you perform or perish, not in the short term, but on a continuous basis, on a sustainable basis. So, if you become a learning organization, the objective is that you try to perform well, you come out with innovative products and services on a regular basis, so that you remain viable and competitive in the market. Now, in order to become a learning organization, there have been certain perspectives, okay, which we are going to discuss now, and the most important perspective that has been developed is known as systems thinking perspective, okay, where you are going to think about the organization as a whole and see that how organizations are going to learn in the process to become a learning organization. So, what we are going to discuss now here is the systems thinking perspective, okay. And here if you look at the learning organizational activities, if you remember we talked about Garvin, and he said that learning organizations are skilled at 5 main learning activities. Okay. We will discuss about that at a later stage. That is how systematically you solve your problem. Then next is whether you go for experimentation with new approaches when you try to bring about certain changes in systems, processes, culture, right, or products and services. Okay. So, you need to go for some kind of experimentation, not necessary that when you go for experimentation you basically realize success. There is always a possibility of failures, but you need to accept failures also and see that how you can overcome those problems based on the analysis, and then you go for experimentation, okay, with a new approach. So, it is very very important that an organization, if you want to be a learning organization, okay, continuously keep on trying to solve problems as and when it comes in a very systematic way. It means that you adopt a very planned approach for problem solving. Okay. When it comes to problem solving, you know that there are two major approaches that could be used. Okay. One that is where you are using certain algorithms, okay, a straightforward approach. For example, when you say 2 plus 2, okay, so you calculate and make it 4. Okay. It means that you know the formula, you know the route, you know the systems and processes which is to be adapted to in order to solve problems. Okay. That is what systematic problem solving is. It means you are aware about the things that what needs to be done in order to fix a problem. Okay. But the problem comes out when you do not know how to solve a problem, provided the systems and processes that you have developed are not able to explain you how to solve this problem. Okay. And that is where you go for adopting a new approach. You are going to experiment with new ideas, new approaches which is going to help you to solve the problems. Okay. And this, if you look at these 2 points, one talks about what you call a divergent thinking, a convergent thinking and divergent thinking approach. Convergent thinking and divergent thinking. So, convergent thinking is something where it is a more direct approach, it is an indirect approach. Okay. That is where systems are available to solve problems, here do not know how to solve it. Okay. So, you adopt different approaches to solve the problem, right, and that is where you go for experimentation. Okay. So, adopt new ideas, new approaches, experiment with that, see whether it works. If it works, it is good. If it does not work, then you leave it out, right. So, what is important is that you see to it that how you can go and adopt a experimental approach to see that whether it works or not, right. So, you go for both approaches, systematic problem solving and experimentation with new ideas. Then you also try to learn from past experiences. Okay. So, there are different ways through which, because past experiences provided you kind of say intuition the way you have been doing things, and then certain inputs or insights that is created by you could be helpful or useful for you to solve the problems, right. Then you also look at the best practices that have been adapted to solve the problem. You know, sometimes you say, okay, you come to me and then you say that I am not able to do it. So, I said, why do not you do like it? Okay. Because this is the best practice that could be used here. Okay. So, using the best practices approach, that is also possible, and then you are going to learn from there. And finally, probably you make sure that transfer is knowledge quickly and efficiently through the organization. So, whatever knowledge is created in the process, okay. Say for example, you have identified a new approach to solve a problem, to fix a problem, and for that there is no readily systematic approach is available. Okay. Now, this new idea that has come and has been tested and verified, and you know that it is working well, has to be communicated to everyone, so that they can make use of it, and that is where you need certain enablers like having a knowledge management system, where you communicate and document that how you have developed this, in what way it could be useful. So, that people can read and get certain insights for use it. So, knowledge sharing is very important. You can use technology platform, you can use collaborations, and whatever it is possible, you make sure that it is communicated effectively to everyone, and for that you need to identify some kind of mechanism for transferring knowledge very quickly and efficiently across the organization. And if you are using an IT enabled system, probably that is the best way to do it. Okay. For example, you can publicize it on the say the portal of the organization, so that people can read it. So, they can also know that okay, this is the new idea that has come up, this is the new thing that has come up, which they can find useful for their work. Now, I am coming to the most important development that has happened in the field of learning organization, and that has come from Peter Senge. Okay. He wrote a book that is known as the fifth discipline. Okay. And in this book, probably he is conceptualized this construct of learning organization. He has identified certain components or constructs of learning organization. Now, if you look at this learning organization concept, he says that a learning organization decentralizes the load of leadership to increase the contribution of every employee. It means, every employee is going to participate in the process of creating learning, and then you have to adopt a holistic approach and get everyone on the same page. It means that everybody should participate, and then the ideas should converge together to create something that could be useful not for the individual itself, but for everybody in the organization, right. And then moving further, he says that yes, you need to create systems and structures as enablers, so that this continues on a regular basis. So, that this kind of say system organization or process that you have is going to be more sustainable in the long run. So, that people continuously do these kind of things. And finally, he says that yes, the most important thing is the human values. What is the thinking, interest, attitudes of the people, because this is the most important thing in so far as workplace learning is concerned, because ultimately it is the people who are going to learn. So, you need to see that when you are going to create systems and processes for individual learning, make sure that everybody participate in the process. Not only everybody participates, you create systems and enablers for the process, so that it is more sustainable in the long run. And finally, you should be able to recognize vision, purpose, be more reflective, okay, and then adopt a systems thinking approach. Systems thinking approach is more holistic approach, and that is very essential for an organization to become a learning organization. And then you are going to also create more informal and social networks. It is not that through formal structures and systems that you can achieve it, but try to make sure that you have networks, okay, social networks through which people are connected, are interconnected, or you also have informal networks. Okay. Now, for example, we are using a lot of social media for interacting and connecting and networking with the people. Okay. Similarly, in the organization, people may connect informally, not through formal structures, roles and responsibilities. Okay. So, you need to create these kind of things, so that this create a system and process for learning. Okay. And then if people are going to learn, participate in the process, it is good for the organization. Okay. And then he basically ultimately talked about the 5 key disciplines in his book, fifth discipline, and then you have to see that people have these skills which basically help them to become an organization, a learning organization, right. So, what we are going to discuss now is some of the key areas are skilled in the area what we call the 5 disciplines, which have been discussed in the book, the 5th discipline. So, he said that solution for learning organization is 5 disciplines, which is known as systems thinking, personal mastery, mental models, then we have shared vision and team learning, these. Okay. Now, if you look at this become a learning organization. Now, if you look at this, all of them coordinated and integrated in a way, you will find that most of them say like these are 5 key disciplines which contributes an organization to become a learning organization. Now, I am trying to give an example to see that how we are going to approach a more holistic systematic perspective or thinking to look at this. Now, if you look at this, the system in a larger world. Okay. Now, if you look at this, what do you find? An organization or a school system has to be perceived as what? It may consist number of things, there could be a number of stakeholders, and a school as such is a part of the community itself, right. So, a school and organization is associated, affiliated with a larger set, that is community. It means that school as a system is a part of the community where the students live, right. Then you might be having a number of stakeholders in the process, teachers, students, guardians, parents, right, and they all need to interact with each other in order to have a better schooling system, right. Then you have classrooms, you have infrastructures, you have other things, systems and processes related to the school. Okay. So, if you are going to use a larger perspective, a systems perspective, then a school should not be only thought of teachers and classrooms or students and teachers, but you should have a much larger perspective in order to understand the schooling system, okay, where you have a number of stakeholders, each have their own expectations, okay, and interests, right. And then you are going to create systems and processes to make sure that the system is effective and contribute in a better way. So, you are going to produce the output, that is the students who are of better quality students, and that is possible only when you are going to look at it in a larger perspective, right. So, you have to think in a systems from the systems perspective, right. Now, what we will do, we will discuss all these 5 disciplines one by one and try to explain it. What does it mean when we say that it is a systems thinking or other approaches? Look at the systems thinking approach. So, systems thinking is much more holistic in the sense that if you are to understand the organization, you are not going to look at just one thing, but you are going to look at the whole system. Okay. You are going to understand the kind of structure it has, what kind of systems and processes are there, how people are interacting and relating with each other, right, which is going to mold the behavior of the people and the organization, right. So, you have to look at it from a larger perspective, in the systems perspective, to understand how things are happening, what kind of trends and patterns have come up, what kind of relationship is there, how people behave and interact with each other, right. So, it means that it is a discipline of seeing in the whole. Okay. For example, if you go to an organization, you are not going to see people working on the desks, okay. That is a part of it. You have to look at everything, starting with the systems, structure, processes, technology, culture, everything. Okay. So, you are going to look at the entire management and organization system, okay, through the lens, so that you can understand it in a better way, because that would help you to visualize a better picture of the organization, and probably would be able to make sense of what it is doing, why it is there, what it is for, what kind of products and services it offers, right, and what needs to be done to change it, right. And that actually permits you to see that how you can go for change the system if it is not working. So, you are not going to look into the internal or external, but everything that is going to help you. Look at this. both in running, being complementary and alternative. They are not dissociates. Systems, structures and processes are not separable, but they are all interconnected with each other, right. For example, when you are going to produce a product in an organization, an assembly line, you look at the entire production system as a whole. You are not going to look at each part of the production system, because the same product goes from one desk to another desk, and then the entire system completes. Okay. So, they are not dissociable, but they are interconnected with each other. So, system, every part of the system is connected with each other, and they have to coordinate and integrate their activities. Okay. See this. This is a very old example. System as a whole, always. You are not going to look at one particular aspect and say this is an organization, but you are going to visualize the whole picture or the better picture, and that would make better sense to you, right. So, you have to see system as a whole, right. Do not work in parts, that is more important. Okay. Look at the next part, personal mastery. Okay. What means by personal mastery? Personal mastery is something that is related to the competence of the people. Okay. How, what is your knowledge and skill base? So, in order to create a learning organization, the first condition is that, first discipline is that you should be able to visualize a big picture, right. Second is that make sure that people have the abilities, the competence, that is what personal mastery means. Look at this example. So, the idea is that you need to stretch upon. Okay. So, the example that is given here is a rubber band. Okay. So, you have to see that how long you can stretch a rubber band. You can stretch up to a point where it does not break. Okay. But if you stretch it too much, what happens? The band breaks down, right. The similar thing can be said about the competence and the knowledge and the mastery of the people. You make sure that you are able to grow yourself to the level where you become so much competent that you are able to contribute yourself, and that is possible based upon the kind of strength that you have developed. So, look at your reality in terms of your strength and other things, and then you see what is your goals and objectives that you want to achieve, and then you move stretch yourself to the extent possible, okay, through learning and development interventions and other kind of activities, so that you are able to achieve your goals. So, you need to stretch upon, but do not stretch too much so that you back down. Okay. The idea is that you should stretch yourself depending upon your strength, so that you are able to achieve or realize your aspirations, okay. And that is where you need to try to develop mastery or competence in the field where you are. Okay. And in the process, if you look at this picture, what does it suggest? It depends upon what kind of beliefs, realities and vision you have for yourself. Okay. So, for example, if you look at your strength and weaknesses, what kind of belief you have and where do you want to go, right. If you look at this picture, it suggests, see that you are here, this is your current reality, you want to move up to this state. Okay. So, if you want to move, you have to move further from here to here, okay. And that is where your belief system is going to help you. If you think that you are powerful and you can do it, you have the self confidence and you believe in yourself, probably you will try to move ahead, right. Maybe in the process you might move back also, because you realize your reality. Okay. So, you might move back, then you go forth. So, through this process of moving back and forth, probably you would be able to realize your strength, you will be able to have believe in yourself, and then you try to stretch yourself to the extent possible to achieve your goals and objectives that you have set for yourself, right. So, the idea here is that you need to develop competence to the extent of possible, and while you are developing your competence, you set your goals where you want to go, and then the most important thing is that have confidence, believe in yourself, okay, in terms of your growth, strength, your power, your worth and everything, because that is going to take you from this position to that position, and that is why personal competence is very, very important. Okay. Now, moving to the next one, look at this. This has been taken from the psychology, where we talk about three part of mind, which is related to id, ego and superego. Okay. Id is based on reality, a pleasure principle, while ego and superego is based on what you call reality. Why I am trying to make you understand here, since we are talking about reality. So, what reality is? Okay. How you can achieve certain things in your life. Okay. So, you have to work on reality principle. So, you need to understand who you are, okay, based on that reality, and then you see that what is your capability. Some of your capabilities could be known to you, but some of them may not be known to you. Okay. And while you are trying to achieve those goals and objectives, you also need to ensure that this ego comes into the picture, because it is based on reality principle. You are not going to be driven out by it, because you want something and then that is why you should get it, and if you do not get it, then you get frustrated, you start trying, because it is based on pleasure principle. Okay. So, if you are being dominated by this, probably this is not good, but you should be dominated by ego. It means you should work on reality, see what is achievable in the process, what you can get, whether you will be able to achieve your goals and objectives by adopting a meaningful process or not. That is more important. It means that you make sure that you are going to adopt a process which is fair, which is objective, okay, which is acceptable to everybody, and you adopt those processes which is going to help you, okay, in the process, not this one. Okay. So, you use your conscious mind and try to explore your unconscious mind also, that is part of the superego, because it is going to create a kinds of conscience of whether it is good to do it in that particular way or not. So, superego is nothing else, but it is a kinds of conscience which blocks you if you are not able to do certain things in a realistic manner, and that is where superego comes into the picture. Okay. And that is why, if you remember here, when we are talking about this, okay, if you believe it, believe in yourselves, your power, your strength, okay, and you are able to realize your potential, probably you will be able to move forward to achieve your goals and objectives based on reality, not based on pleasure. You want something, and that is why you are moving ahead. Adopting any kind of means, fair, unfair, no, that should not be the case, but make sure that you adopt all fair means to achieve your goals and objectives by realizing your potential and making use of that, right, and that is where personal mastery is important. Moving to the third part, that is mental models. Mental model is another important thing, because we need to create about certain images of things, events and people, right. For example, we have certain prejudiced minds, okay, about certain events, objectives and phenomena, right, and these images are held internally and they are very, very strong. So, you need to change these kind of internal images or mindsets that have been created by you. So, you need to come out of this, like it is like a cocoon, okay, because you have created a very comfortable world for yourself and you do not want to come out of it. Okay. Then how would you learn? If you have created certain mindset, if say for example, you are holding a particular position, you are doing well and then you feel satisfied. Okay. Is it enough? You do not want to progress any further. If that is not, it means that you have already decided that this is the end state, right. You do not move, you do not want to move beyond further. So, this kind of mindset once created, it is very difficult to break it. Now, the question is that these kind of mental models have to be broken. Okay. You have to come out of your comfort zone if you really want to do something that is good. If you really want to learn, say for example, in this case as an individual, right. So, whatever internal images of phenomena, events that you have already formed has to be changed by you, and it is possible only when you break down the comfort zone, you come out of it, your cocoon, and try to do something more innovative and productive in nature, right. It means that whatever pictures that you have shaped about of the world and how it is going to affect your action has to be changed. So, you need to create a changed mindset, okay, and then probably you would be able to realize a better picture, and with the competence and these kind of things probably you will be able to do much better, right. And you need to consciously examine it. So, try to get feedback about yourself from others, what do you think, whether it is good or bad, and then accordingly go for a change. So, look at this. Try to get feedback from those who are around you. Okay. So, look at try to understand what is your attitude and perception, what others think about you, what is their attitude. So, you get this feedback probably that would help you to change your thinking, your perception, okay. And that is more important, to get a much broader view about yourself and others. Okay. This is what mental model means. And finally, coming the fourth one is shared vision, and here probably we try to see that we try to depict a collective picture of the future. Okay. So, when we are going to depict try to have a collective picture of the future related to the organization, that say this is where the organization is today and that is where we want to go. Okay. So, let everybody participate in the process and have a very collective or shared vision about what the organization should do or where it wants to go, right. It means that everybody in the process is going to be connected with pursuing the larger purpose, right, in the interest of the organization, and that is what actually shared vision means. Okay. And here the commitment to this is by choice, not by the compliance. It means that everybody should voluntarily participate in the process to visualize the larger picture. Okay. Otherwise, it would be like a say a big elephant, and whosoever is holding what part he would describe the organization as in that way. So, the idea is that if you want to realize the bigger picture, then let everybody participate and share the information with each other, so that you are able to visualize the better picture or the bigger picture, right. And there is like you try to create different kind of scenario, let everybody participate in the process to describe the scenario, and then you try to build up a scenario that okay, this kind of scenario is going to be there tomorrow to work. Okay. Look at this, that how shared vision evolves. The shared vision is that one, right. Here 3 visions are there, these are the 3 different visions, and which is culminated into this shared vision. And here in the process everybody is committed and involved in the process of identifying what the shared vision is, right. Moving to the next part, see there could be variations in the context of the organization, different departments, different divisions might think differently, okay, but they have to culminate. Okay, and this has to be aligned, all the divisions, like look at here, division A, B, C are different departments which are there, they have to culminate and converge their thinking in such a way, so that they are able to create what you call a shared vision. Okay. So, this is going to be the shared vision for the organization. Say for example, when you are thinking decision making in a school as a learning organization and you are using shared vision. So, since everybody is concerned about the student, right. So, everybody has to participate in the process, that how students can get benefit, and if you are going to take any decision, let everybody, all the stakeholders participate in the process, whether it is teachers, students, community, administrations or in the support staff including parents. So, the culminated view that is coming out might be much better view about the students, right. Then there are certain things that can be said about the model, because this model is very good and been in use, because it basically does not talk about linear thinking, it talks about divergent thinking. It is not a reactive, but a proactive response, you can say. And here the leadership is not being controlled, because you know that everybody participate in the process, and at one point or other everybody is going to be there, and it does not create negative mental models. That is one of the things, because you try to create something that is positive. Okay. And then it basically starts with vision of the organization, where you are, where you want to go, and then what kind of things are required for that. And finally, basically it does not promote competition in product orientation, because everybody is going to work together for the organization and its interests. Thank you very much.